that show up?
Yeah, it's showing up. Well, we got you basically at the peak of your hat. Peak of the house top. We could go a little bit wider, but it's going to throw
Whatever you
throw
got.
too much junk in the background behind
Don't
you.
like background junk.
Well, okay, we're going to start.
Yeah, looks good. All right, so first, state your name for the camera and where you're from.
My name is Gordon Soderberg. What does that mean?
It means
Louder.
Then say louder.
Right.
I was trying to
This
stay,
doesn't
I was
mean
trying to
anything.
stay off.
All right. So what we'll do is we're gonna start.
Let's start over again.
And so first, state your name for the camera and where you're from.
My name is Gordon Soderberg, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
And how have you helped the people of Aransas Pass?
Well, for the last 30 days, we've been cutting wood, running heavy equipment, helping different organizations with the same, getting shit done.
And how did you hear about the Aransas Pass Burners Without Borders project?
It was Jesse Levin from Team Rubicon USA. He was a kind of fixer for them nationally that gets stuff done. Heard my post about going down to help out with my heavy equipment trailer and doing something more than just what Team Rubicon members typically do. I had more time, and having my own VOAD with Blight Busters in Detroit, we were able to run independently, so I called another Team Rubicon member that likes to go to these kinds of special ops with me, Jake Kimmel, and we hooked up through Jesse with the burner situation that they were getting heavy equipment but didn't have a trailer to haul it from one site to another, so it was a perfect match.
And how do you think the people of Aransas Pass have responded to the Burners Without Borders grassroots effort?
It's been open arms, open kitchens, open showers. Literally, they created a family that probably lasts a lot longer than the memory of the disaster.
And what was your favorite thing so far about your experience?
Diesel was my favorite thing.
And Diesel is?
Diesel's a local veteran that gave me this for clearing up his property, dropping the trees, clearing out the fences, the broken buildings. So this is a real prize.
Do you feel in any way differently after your experience in Aransas Pass?
I've been doing this for 30 plus years, disasters, Navy, civilian, VOADs. So each disaster changes you. The more disasters you go to, the more it either reinforces the reasons why you go, or gives you new reasons, or in some cases tells you it's time to take a break.
And do you think it is important to do this into the future, and why?
Say that again, please.
Oh, do you think it's important to do this into the future, and why?
Well, it's a lifestyle for me, so, if I preached that otherwise, it'd be kind of hypocritical. Yeah, it's important to me to have a reason to get up, service. My military experience gave me the tools, and it was pretty much wasted on the military, so now I'm using them for a positive effect.
And so you have been involved with the Detroit Blight Busters for a number of years now. Can you describe for us briefly sort of what the program orientation is there at Detroit Blight Busters?
Well, Blight Busters is 28 years old. I've been with them for 4 since Hurricane Sandy. We joined up to bring veteran training styles and national certifications to a blighted community that's for 28 years been doing it grassroots without any training, without any OSHA, without any certification, and without much money because, again, they don't have any training or certifications to be doing a lot of the work that they were doing. Literally, they were pulling buildings over with chains and a 4-wheel drive, unwrapping the first floor, weakening the walls, and then literally tipping the building over and then climbing on top of it to break it up. That's how I found Lakebusters. So since then, we've partnered with a number of organizations through our certifications and Team Rubicon's bringing in training for veteran members that want to join the National Disaster Response, can use our facilities and our community network through Blightbusters to clean up an entire block in a week of all the debris, the overgrowth, the stumps, the trees, the burned out buildings.
So you mentioned that training is an important part of the Detroit experience for your volunteers. What kind of tools do they receive training on when they come to visit?
Well, we have everything from heavy equipment. I'm a DOI, Department of Interior, Team Rubicon certified heavy equipment trainer. I don't give certifications in my training, I give orientation on how the training goes, and then it's up to the individual to actually take the certified course through Team Rubicon and DOI. But I give them orientation, I give them stick time. Those that have gotten that training and need the seat time to become level 2, level 3 operators in disasters have to have so many hours in the seat. And by using the Blight of Detroit, we're creating a boot camp for disaster, where Team Rubicon members or members of all hands or Burners Without Borders could come to Detroit and get their seat time to be certified through Team Rubicon and DOI to run their heavy equipment in a disaster. I'm down here working with burners initially. I originally came, was set up to come down with Team Rubicon on their heavy equipment operations. But they operate 1 week at a time, and I like to go in for a lot longer than that and really, figure out and acclimate and learn more than just, the experience of a week's volunteer. That's good for people that haven't been doing this for very long, people that haven't done disasters or and their military experience didn't expose them to this kind of lifestyle, and they're kind of searching for that. Well, that's, for the fucking new guy. Us fucking old guys need a little more action from that. And so providing other new members that have kind of got the same kind of bug, they want to take this long haul, by partnering with other organizations, we're kind of tip of the spear for people who want to go long haul with their, whether it's a career or a lifestyle, to respond to disasters.
Yeah, and so you have been responding to disasters since Hurricane
Iwa, 1982.
1982.
My first night at sea. So
it would be safe to say that you are a subject matter expert?
Yeah, first hand I've been, my first night at sea was in a hurricane. My first watch in the Navy was on the helm of a 264-foot fast frigate in the Molokai Channel, dodging the rest of the 7th Fleet during a hurricane. So I kind of got addicted to the stuff right from the start, and everything since then's been kind of a little less dramatic. So I kind of walk into these disasters not expecting to be surprised.
And so you have had, you are yourself a VOAD.
Right.
And you have had multiple experience with different VOADs over time. And you've seen them evolve as well.
Or devolve.
Or devolve as well. So how would you frame all of that with the Burners Without Borders experience that you've had here?
There's a lot of similarities what I saw after Katrina. I saw what you guys did initially. I was in Covington, and then we set up another camp in Crawford, or Slidell, and then others after Rita. So I was always kind of had my finger on the internet, looking at what other organizations have been doing, grassroots organizations. We started after Katrina with grassroots veteran disaster response. There wasn't a Team Rubicon 12 years ago. So the experience of working with different organizations has been kind of where I've been all along. The Navy has its own organization, and then since then we've been trying to, and I say we, these different organizations are trying to apply some sort of military model in terms of setting up a forward operating base, camping, logistics, operations to move out equipment to get it tore up. It's very military-esque in terms of operations. And so different organizations applied what they learned from either their past experiences or what they applied to their day in, day out lifestyle of their organization. Like Burners creates a city and supports all the EMS and all the traffic, everything that a city needs in the middle of nowhere, while applying that same model to disaster responses, obvious. And other organizations that are more volunteer-based to mobilize large groups of people are often looking for work because they're not embedded into the community like organizations that run more grassroots and are there for the long haul for often different reasons, different financial reasons, different motivations. A lot of grassroots are from that community and just spring up during the disaster. So working through all those different kinds of operations has given me a broad experience, and I think the common thing that keeps them all together is the reason why they're there in service.
So what was your favorite task or piece of equipment to operate?
Well, it's always my chainsaws. I like cutting wood, have been since a kid. These aren't redwood trees, but they're pretty close, some of them. And teaching how to operate a chainsaw safely and demonstrating how it can be operated safely even at a fast pace is what I think a lot of first-time sawyers need to see. Somebody that's proficient operating in a very difficult situation where typical, you wouldn't see this anywhere else. You wouldn't see this in a controlled environment. This is a completely uncontrolled environment where the disasters, the scale of it, the complications that are involved with it. It's a perfect training opportunity. It's kind of a yin-yang experience. That it's a perfect training opportunity, but it's the worst time to do training, right? And that's kind of where we're at with Blightbusters and kind of smashing all this together using service projects, and communities aren't really declared disasters, but in reality they are. Pick a city, it's got blight. Perfect training place for disaster response.
So, and how do you think that this effort, or how do you feel like relative to other things, how did the disaster camp at Aransas Pass, just give us a critique.
It reminds me just like the camp we had in Covington after Katrina, and Slidell after Rita. It's pop-up tents. We talked about it 12 years ago in Katrina. Disasters are in tents, right?
Yep, that's true.
And I think that experience of camping out and roughing it is pretty crucial to really buying into the whole relief effort.
So it's almost kind of like in the Burning Man environment where it's a hard environment. Do you feel it makes the experience more legitimate in some way? Or at least impactful maybe?
It's full. The experience is a broader experience. You are living 24/7 in a disaster zone and in a disaster environment on a relief mission that is dependent on support from outside. So you really are on a military kind of operation. Whereas Team Rubicon got it pretty good. They end up with air-conditioned spaces and bunks in churches and large-scale things because they move a lot of people. But it's like turning on and off a light switch. You're back at not the forward operating base. You're in the rear with the gear and having cake and ice cream and somebody taking you to the movie. So it's that kind of military back-end base operations I'm really not that interested in. And I just as soon camp out with forward operating base 24/7 during a disaster than to back out every night and have it like a day job in a hotel or in a really secure, controlled environment. You're not really living what everybody else is out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, do you have any message that you'd like to send out to the world?
A lot of them, but one I think in context to Burning Man and disaster response and my experience as a veteran and as an immigrant, it's your country. Take care of it.
Fair enough. All right, good one, man. That was a really good interview.